Shortly after the debut album Iron Maiden released their first music video and single of Women in Uniform. The song is not featured on their second album, Killers, but it is a good transition between the two albums. Because of their great manager, Rod Smallwood, Iron Maiden got to tour with Kiss all across Europe. Steve, influenced by the band he was touring with, used Eddie to help develop a marketing campaign that rivaled even the likes of Kiss. Shortly after the tour, Steve Harris decided to kick Dennis Stratton out because he wanted to go a more rock/stoner rock sort of direction. Now, many years before this, Adrian Smith, a longtime friend of Dave Murray's and childhood friend, began playing guitar with him, and Dave Murray even sold Adrian his very first guitar. And as kids, they used to play together at many shows and even formed a band. And after Dave went to go do his own thing, Adrian turned the band into Urchin. Now, back in 1980, they tried to get Adrian before Dennis had left Iron Maiden, but Adrian was just too tied up with Urchin and could not leave and did not have an interest to leave. But after many failed attempts to get Urchin bigger and more successful, when Rod and others asked Adrian to join the band, he finally accepted. And Adrian Smith and Dave Murray would go on to form what many consider to be the most legendary twin lead duo of all time. With Adrian, they did their famous live show, Live at the Rainbow, which would be their first video live performance. And they even wrote the classic song, which would be the title track of their next album, Killers, right before going on. Killers would become a massive influence on the thrash metal scene that would come after. The great producer Martin Birch was asked to produce Killers. They originally wanted him to produce Iron Maiden, but they were afraid that he would say no. So in turn, the album Killers would have a massive boost in production. The album released two very successful singles, one of them being The Twilight Zone, and my favorite, Purgatory. Although the band and many fans consider the tracks on Killers to be many leftover songs from the debut album, after the release of Killers, Iron Maiden would tour all over the world and plant their seeds that would become fans worldwide. This is the 1981 heavy metal classic that was highly influential to the thrash metal genre. This is Iron Maiden's Killers. It's 1981, Iron Maiden's Killers finally hits stores. The artwork is really cool. It features Eddie as the kind of a modified from the last album, definitely an improvement on Derek Riggs' part. So Eddie's on there with like longer hair, way more modified. Everything looks better because Derek gave more of a shit doing it. So Eddie has an axe. He's got someone holding onto his shirt here. I believe he just killed because there's blood on the axe. And then you can see these cool apartment complexes in the background. It's dark at nighttime again. Real creepy, real classic. And kind of what got me into the Paul Di'Anno era because the artwork is just so amazing. And easily one of the best Iron Maiden artworks. And apparently an Easter egg is that in the background in one of the windows is actually Charlotte the Harlot. The musicianship is great again on this album. Paul Di'Anno doesn't really do too many weird things with his voice. Dave Murray's doing guitar solos that are maybe even better than the last album because they're just so melodic. And Clive Burr, in my opinion's drumming is at its peak on this album. Everything he does sounds completely perfect. Every fill, every rhythm is completely on time. Steve Harris is perfect as usual, probably better than the last album. And then, new thing, Adrian Smith. I do love Adrian. He gets better and better in my opinion. I think he really peaks on Power Slave. Not a big fan of his guitar solos in this album. He has maybe one or two that I kind of liked. The rest were really not technical at all. They're kind of generic. Not a big fan of him on this album, but he's okay. The guitar solos complement each other well, so it doesn't matter. The production is a giant boost from the last album. We finally have Martin Birch, so the album sounds really, really heavy and like a great heavy metal album. And the songwriting, it's a little bit weaker than the last album, like I said, because these are sort of the leftover songs from the debut, except with maybe the exception of one or two. And although I do think some songs are way better than a lot of off the debut, which doesn't make any sense, like Purgatory, which we'll talk about later. Way better than a lot of songs off of Iron Maiden, in my opinion. And the style of this album is very bluesy and heavy metal. Without a doubt, heavy metal, even a little bit of thrash metal. Let's get to the tracks. Let's go to the first one, Ides of March, a little short instrumental intro, which is amazing. Really a cool build-up, that's all it is for the most part. Not really too much to dissect. It's just one big movement and a couple progressions from it. There is a little bit of a middle part where the rhythm changes a tiny bit for the both solos that complement each other well. You have this cool Adrian and Dave solo. Makes the whole section perfect in my opinion. It's just kind of a mid-tempo sort of intro, that's all it is. Then that goes into Wrathchild, which a lot of people love this song, and I loved it for a long time, but I still think it's a good song. It's definitely a classic, but it's missing a little bit of technical songwriting, you know, it's just sort of a catchy song, that's it. It has this really cool bass intro, and the whole band comes in, all guns blazing. Dave does so many amazing solos in this song. I'm pretty sure he does every single solo as well. He's all over the place. There's a lot of great melodic guitar soloing. He probably is one of the best parts of this entire song because it seems like every other thing is him doing some guitar fill, and it makes the song so much better. Paul's vocals are great too. Delivers this song way better than Bruce in my opinion. His bluesy style goes perfectly with this song, which is a bluesy type of song, very heavy metal. We have this little middle section part, which is over fairly quickly. It's just more of a quick build-up that's somewhat pointless. And then we return to soloing and Murders in the Rue Morgue, another Iron Maiden classic. They opened a lot of shows with this song. It is truly a bluesy type of classic. It has a really weird quiet intro. It sounds like some bass harmonics as well. It sounds really bizarre. And of course the song is about the short story Murders in the Rue Morgue by Edgar Allan Poe. You can look at the storyline, I'm not going to explain it. And then we finally get to the second part of the intro where it gets heavier and we hear this amazing solo from Dave Murray. Then when you hear Clive Burgess do this amazing, just fucking insane drum fill, and then we blast into the song, which is just very fast, bluesy again. Paul sounds really great. There is a cool middle section though, I gotta say. And that builds up into this little part where both of them play guitar solo together, which is probably my favorite part in the whole song. Once again, musicianship top notch. Clive Burr has these amazing fills every once in a while. He really drives this album home. Then we get to the arguably weakest track on the album in my opinion, and it suffers the same problem as the song Iron Maiden from the first album. It has a really cool drum intro, some really cool riffs. And once again, the same thing with Iron Maiden, I do like the first part, which tends to repeat 3 times for no reason, the exact same thing, lyrics and all. There are a lot of really cool guitar fills from Dave Murray all over the place, but just don't save the song enough, way too long in my opinion, too drawn out. But there is this little cool middle section part once again, like in Iron Maiden, but it's way too freaking short. And then we get some amazing solos from Dave Murray, and then it's just this cool jam part at the end with him and Adrian. Although the musicianship is top-notch, the songwriting is just not very good at all. Then we get to one of my favorite songs to the album, Genghis Khan, another instrumental. Transylvania is 4 minutes, Genghis Khan is 3 minutes, so usually I like longer songs because they can accomplish more things, but if a shorter song, like a song shorter than it, can accomplish even more, then it's a stronger song. Genghis Khan over here has more musical sections. I think it has one more. All of them are great. I do not like the first part of Transylvania, to be honest with you. It kind of annoys me, even though it's classic. Genghis Khan is somewhat similar to the first section of Transylvania, but way better in my opinion. So Transylvania, I do like the second section. Any section from Genghis Khan destroys that. Although it doesn't have any solos, Transylvania does. That's kind of what it has against that. Overall, I think Genghis Khan's a way better song. We have this really cool bass and drum part at the intro that's just absolutely insane to build up the song. Then we get to the first section, and then the drums and bass drive the whole first section, which is kind of a weird gallop or something. It's really weird. It makes you think horses and cavalry charges, just like Genghis Khan, which is awesome. It really delivers that mood. Perfect song title, by the way. I didn't think Transylvania fit. This one definitely fits. And then we go into the second part, which feels a little bit of a transition from the first part, and it bleeds into it perfectly because it sounds a little bit like the same riff, just a little bit different, I guess you could say. and it's going all guns blazing. The drum is insanely fast. The drum playing from Clive, holy shit. And then we go into the final section, which is amazing, which is more of a type of slower paced groove, which I love. Then we get a somewhat of a dual solo, if you want to call it that. It's just these higher melodies over everything, and we get some really nice echoes as well. The bass is just driving this whole section home. It really feels like an epic battle or something that Genghis Khan would lead his whole conquest. Really cool. I really enjoyed this song. And once again, musicianship, songwriting, top notch. I really enjoyed it. This is Steve Harris's first song he's ever written, Innocent Exile. Starts off with this really cool bass riff. Then we get into this real bluesy song. Has really great riffs, real catchy the entire time. There's a couple transitions, but for the most part, the song structure is completely all over the place in a good way, meaning it's unpredictable. There's some lyrics that do repeat a lot. In fact, I think it feels like there's not even a verse, it's just the chorus. So after these really cool parts, then we get into this awesome, epic middle section that have great solos from Dave Murray and Adrian Smith back to back. Great transitions overall, a lot of great middle section, which just ends the song, I believe. I only have two gripes. One of them is the last part, which annoys me when they're just kind of jamming at the end, the very end, and Paul just says, "Lord, I'm coming," for no reason. And my other gripe is that it just feels a little underdeveloped. Like I said, it feels like there's just a chorus, and there's just some really great riffs out here and there. So I'm going to say it's a good song. Could have been better though. I think they should have developed it a little bit more. Holy shit, the title track Killers. Now we're talking. Most consider this to be one of the earliest thrash metal songs, and in my opinion, the seminal, influential thrash song. You could argue Stone Cold Crazy or Rapid Fire, whatever you want to say. I pick Killers. Has this really badass, eerie bass buildup with a couple hammer-ons and guitars. Yeah, Paul going like, yeah, yeah, every once in a while for no reason. Then the song explodes. Holy shit, it does not let you go. The fastest, craziest riff I've ever heard. You have one of the guitarists doing just a normal chugging riff, and then we have, I believe, Dave doing like a pinch harmonic. Some amazing back and forth transitions, which just shows how mature Steve Harris has gotten in writing. Paul's vocals are great on it. Everybody sounds great, especially Clive as well. Steve's bass is insane. The guitar riffs are perfect. There's this really cool little vocal part that's building up to the middle section and solos, but then we return after this amazing middle section too. The song really does not let you go, and then we are back into this amazing pinch harmonic riff that just back and forth, never lets you go. Amazing. It really has left an impact on me. One of my favorite Iron Maiden songs. Killers is epic. Then we get to Prodigal Son. The song's 6 minutes. A acoustic-y type of song, which is really cool. I'd say the first 4 minutes or so are great, and it completely overstays its welcome. Has a cool build-up part, great lyrics, and then we even have a great middle part that's really slow. Both give these amazing guitar solos. And then we return to the song again. Like they even take out time to make it seem like the song is going to end with the intro again. And then it just goes back into the song. So it stays an extra 2 minutes. Then we get to Purgatory, probably my favorite song off the album. Arguably this, Killers, or Genghis Khan, they're all really great songs. This one is just melodic as hell. It reminds me of Judas Be My Guide, later on Fear of the Dark. The melodies on this song are insane. Once again, it's kind of a speed metal song. It was also a single. And this song is extremely underrated in my opinion. Never play it live for some reason. But it's just all over the place. The riffs, melodies are insane. Of course, Dave Murray just driving the song. When it comes to like melody driving songs, it's always Dave that's doing this great part, even though it was written by Steve. So it just goes back from this verse to the chorus with a great drum sort of build up to the chorus. It's mostly just drum and bass. The guitars are kind of quiet, and the lyrics and vocals of Paul drive that chorus, in my opinion. And then we have great solos all over the place from Dave. And believe it or not, still 3 minutes, so great song in my opinion, really catchy, classic Iron Maiden, and completely underrated in my opinion. Then we get to the song Drifter. Not a huge fan of this one. A lot of people love it. I still think it's a good song. It's real bluesy and has this intro that's really cool that plays every once in a while in the song. Although it's a good closing track, I guess, because it has that real upbeat type of kick some ass vibe, but not good enough to be an opening track. It just feels like a let loose. So that just continues for a while. Everyone's on their A game as usual. Of course, because everyone sounds great on this album. And then we hit this middle section, which is really cool. It slows down a little bit. And I heard somewhere, and I kind of suspected that maybe, because this album doesn't have an epic, Drifter may have been the epic, because every time they play this live, they extend it with this whole part where it's a stupid fucking call repeat thing, which I hate. And it goes for like 13 minutes. So maybe if they extended that to like a 7-minute song, Drifter could have been amazing. So we get to this middle section, which is really amazing. It slows down. I really wish they extended it. And it has this amazing solo from Dave, just going real slow, drawing out the song a little bit. And then all of a sudden the middle section's over with just kind of a return where everything's speeding up. It's like, I don't want it to end, damn it. Extend the fucking song. Make it an epic. And it goes on for a little bit longer. And then we get a really cool solo from Adrian at the end, which, holy shit, this one is just filled with so much passion, so much speech, so much aggression, and it really helps end the album on a positive note. And I believe that's about a drifting musician or something. Then we move on to the bonus track, Twilight Zone, which is the only song on this album to be written, have a writing credit from Dave Murray. I do really love the chorus. I really love the verse as well. It's all very bluesy. Paul works the song perfectly, and Bruce, believe it or not, does too. Just the chorus is so melodic. I love it so much. Really draws you in. And it's just so catchy. Nothing really bad about the song. My only gripe that stops it from being great is that it's too short, and that the middle section, although cool, doesn't really go anywhere, and there's no solos. It's just kind of this twin part again. But I do like the whole twin melody guitar solos. They sound really great.